We start with customer journeys. Now, we're going to talk for the purposes of this about our core customers, people that live in our properties, but we do have other customers. We have regulators, we have suppliers, we have other people that we engage with in the community. But for the purposes of this, as I say, we've identified what we think is the core customer journey, and that encompasses, we believe, 6 themes. We've got strong starts, which I know is a theme that's also been identified by the Shift project, which is looking at how we get our customers on board, what are the things that we find out about them, things like affordability checks at the start, making sure that they're set up right to move into that home and deal with the changes that entail. Quiet enjoyment, the business of just getting on with life in a one Manchester house, paying your rent, being able to check your balance when you need to, and us doing the things that we have to do, like gas services. Life changes sometimes, and this is about circumstances change, people move out of properties, family breakup, loss of a job, whatever that may be. I think this is where the Shift project is really going to focus and zero in on some of those moments to address how we gather around those people who are really vulnerable in those moments and make sure that those human interactions are right. We've got fixing things. So that's not just about repairs, that's about problems that arise. It could be antisocial behaviour, it could be graffiti or abandoned cars in the neighbourhood. Engaged customers. We like to speak to our customers about all the activities that One Manchester does, not just the core stuff, and the people that want to. We want to make it easy for them to get involved, to join our panels, to attend our community soups, all the other added value services that we provide. And then there's moving on. People hand the keys in and move house, they buy the house off us, they die. For whatever reason, that core relationship changes and moves to something else. So under those 6 themes, we've started to identify some of the activities that take place. I accept a property offer. I buy a home and move into a property. As you can see, we've got about a dozen or so, but under each of these there could be dozens, and I think there will be hundreds overall if you talk about all the activities that One Manchester does. Now we've decided to focus on just one of these activities under fixing things, which is about repairs, and we've called it Fix This Broken Thing in My House. So I'll hand that over to Alan to explain.
Thank you. Lots of things happen to fix a broken thing in our house. We're going to use some language here, introduce some vocabulary. We call these epics. And they're called epics because inside each epic are several small stories. To fix a broken thing, we need to report a repair. We might change our appointment. We need to be in for our appointment. We might need some new parts to complete the repair. And at the end of the process, we carry out some satisfaction surveying. Each of these are interactions with the customer. They're little moments of truth where they get to feel what it is to be a One Manchester customer. And at the end of the process, we try to gather what they think of that experience overall. We're proposing, as part of the platform, customers can use any channel at any stage of this journey. We might start reporting a repair online. We might then change our appointment using text message. We then try to be in for our appointment. Or actually, maybe we need to go to the doctor, so have our mum instead. In person, the operative will talk to us about needing a new part. And at the end of the process, maybe we send them an email, or an SMS, or something else to gather that satisfaction feedback, to get some aggregate sense of what's going on in that journey. It's a nice, simple flow through. And the customer can switch at any time. If you start by logging your repair online, you're not forced into the online channel. It might be that when you change your appointment, it's just a casual run-in with the neighbourhood officer in the street. You might choose to receive paper forms for satisfaction purposes. Or you may simply opt out of that step altogether. These epics sit within the overall context of these customer journeys. An epic, several small stories, little crosses representing moments of truth. interactions with One Manchester. But notice, One Manchester isn't there yet. This is just the customer. Where are we? We're here. We're backstage. These blue lines represent the direct interactions between One Manchester and our customer. But that's not all that happens. Internally, we have processes, and they might be joined together with green lines. The customer does not care. The customer wants a nice, straight journey. Something simple, something obvious. The fact that their activity bounces around inside the complexity of our process to meet other stakeholder needs, or to make sure that we can join back up at the bottom, isn't the customer's concern. They don't want passing from pillar to post. They want a nice simple front stage view. And what happens backstage in our processes is not really their concern. But processes matter.
So again, going back to the story, fix this broken thing in my house. We're going to look at a single component of it, which is my repair needs a new part. And right now we've kind of outlined map of how that process works. The operative identifies a need, and the operative contacts the outsourced parts store to see whether or not it's in stock. They then have to review their inventory to see if it is, and if it's available, we need to decide whether or not that repair can be completed in that allotted time, and the repair operative can fetch the part. And if they can, it's great, the process is complete. But what happens if it's not available? Well, then we're going to have to book a new appointment with the tenant in order to secure access for that part to be there when available. Additionally, if the inventory is not available and the part needs to be ordered, we have to go through an ordering process with the repair manager being involved, approvals going through, spreadsheets being updated, and ultimately a new appointment being booked. It's quite a detailed view of how this individual story impacts multiple people. And we're going to have to pull that back up because this is not where we're going to initially start looking at with respect to this process.
One of the things that happens in this process is the contact centre is involved, by necessity. Now there's a few ideas you can have to change the process, make it better. Perhaps start to withdraw the contact centre from this process. And that's important, because once you start pulling back to the epic, some of our customers may choose online interactions at all of these stages. It may well be that the only human interaction they have is with the operative that comes to their home. And that means the contact centre can withdraw from potentially a significant volume of these epics. And that has some very interesting consequences for all the other things that are happening. Well,
The capacity that's released by what Adam's just described, by being able to enable people to self-serve whenever they choose, reducing the amount of interactions required at contact centre level, releases capacity. And that then comes back to our themes. What do you want to do with that capacity? Where do you want it to focus? What are the important things that we want to do more of that add value, that require that human, deep interaction with our customers? Now, we will map the skills that we think are needed as we go. We will also catalogue the insights that we gain as we go. We'll also map the capacity that we're releasing. But ultimately, we turn back to the business and say, what do you want to do with all of that information? And there will be great opportunities to do much more of the things that we value.